The GarageBand guitar amp simulators are very, very cool. They're actually underrated in terms of their quality. However, there are some other free options that you can use to get guitar sounds in GarageBand, and that's what we're going to go through right now. I've recorded this track and I've got two guitars here, and I just used the standard power chord. So let's take a listen to this. I did a rhythm guitar, which sounds a little bit like this. And I recorded a lead guitar part to go along with this. Now, there's nothing wrong with those guitar tones, and I could, of course, come in here to my Amp Sim and change these up, so you can select any of your different amps here in GarageBand, and there's plenty of videos here on the channel all about the GarageBand Amp Sims. But what if you want a little bit more flexibility with your guitars, but you want to spend $0 and £0 and €0? Well, there's an easy way to do this, and that is to use two different apps. The first one is called the Crunck V2 amp from Nembrini, and the second one is Tonbridge. They're both available on the App Store to download for free. So let's get started with these. Now, if you've recorded using the guitar amp, let's just take a step back. So the way to record with the guitar amp is to hit your plus button, go into the amp here, you can go more sounds, and you can select which amp you want to do. I'm using the power chord here in the distorted amp, and then you hit your record button and you record in your track. Now that puts it onto a guitar amp track like this one, which are just like these. These guitar amp tracks have a couple of things that are good, which is that you can jump in here to the amp and you can set all of your different amp settings here. So you can change your EQ, your reverb, your tremolo, your presence, your master, everything. You can adjust your different pedals here. So you can add different pedals or stomp boxes from all of this collection. There's quite a few there that you can actually add in. So you can add in some funk, or you can do whatever you want there. So it's actually pretty cool, but the limitation is you only get, if you come in here to your plugins, you only get one additional plugin. So we've got the reverb here, and we can get rid of that, but we've only got one plugin slot. Now, you may be aware that if you use a regular audio track, you get multiple plugin slots, and that's actually going to help us out with this method. So here's the first thing we need to do. We need to create a standard audio track to put these into. So to do that, we hit the plus button here, and instead of amp, we go to audio recorder. Now, as we probably know, if you've used this before, the way to get your clean sound is, instead of going into vocals or guitar, you go into fun and you hit clean, and you get a completely clean audio track. Now, the first thing that we want to do here is move these guitars into these audio tracks. So what we can do, if we create a second one here, we can duplicate that out, and we can tap outside of here and drag a big bucket over this, tap again, and then just drag these two suckers. Actually, they won't drag down. We'll undo that. They have to be copied. I'm leading you astray. We need to copy them, and then we need to come down, make sure that we've lined up our playhead right at the start of the same spot. So to make sure that it goes into the same spot here, tap there and hit the paste button, and oh, it hasn't worked. So you love it when you're doing a live presentation and things don't work the way you think. Do we have to copy these one at a time? Perhaps we have to do them one at a time. I think I might have led us astray there. Like I was saying, what we need to do is copy these one at a time by tapping on here, tapping again, hitting the copy button, lining up our playhead, selecting our first track here, like so, and pasting it on in by selecting the track, hitting it there, and hitting paste. And then we can do the same with our second track here. We can just select it by selecting the whole lot, including any additional sections that you've got. Probably should have zoomed in before I did this. There you go. There they both are. We're going to tap on there, tap on copy, come back to the start of our track, tap it in there, and come in here and paste it. So all we've done here is moved these two tracks from guitar amp sim tracks into audio recorder tracks. Now, if we play these together now, they're going to sound a little bit soft and sad, aren't they? They're going to sound like this. Now that sounds like me on my electric guitar before I bought my first amp. Anyone else buy a guitar without an amp because they couldn't afford the amp, and then they had to save up to buy an amp, and they just played their electric guitar without any amplification? Yeah, that's me. So that's your standard guitar sound. So let's add in Tonbridge, shall we, to one of these guitars. Now, I'm going to use Tonbridge with the lead guitar sound, I think, because the cool thing about Tonbridge is we can add different sounds based on different artists we may like. So we're going to grab this lead guitar sound. It's this one here. And because this song's a bit of a grungy kind of sound, I think we need a bit of a Pearl Jam kind of tone here. So to add Tonbridge, we come in here to our plugins and EQ, we hit the edit button, and then we hit one of these plus buttons here. We come over to audio unit extensions, we scroll on down to Tonbridge over here on the right hand side. There it is. So if you don't have this already, just download it from the App Store for free. And then when we tap on this one, check this out. We've already got it dialed in here to the last tone that I selected, which was Animal by Pearl Jam. Let's try a different tone here, shall we? What if we went with, say, a Nirvana tone on this one? So if we type in Nirvana, it's going to search that, and it's going to find a whole lot of different Nirvana songs. Now, why don't we go with In Bloom? That's one of my favorite Nirvana songs, and this could be a cool effect to play. So we can have the effect up there. We can come back to the start of our track, and now if we play it, pretty cool, yeah? So we could do any different band that we like here. Say we wanted to, instead of Nirvana, we wanted to go with a bit more of a Green Day kind of tone. And you can actually go into the Tonbridge app and edit it and create your own tones and do a whole bunch of cool stuff there as well. It's pretty cool. So if we go with something like Basket Case from Green Day, and I love the artwork on these pedals, by the way. It looks so cool that you have the actual artwork from the album that you're using. So let's take a listen to this Basket Case tone. And you can see there that you can adjust the effect there, you can adjust the volume, you can do a bunch of cool things there. Why don't we go back to this original Pearl Jam tone that I was using, because I liked this tone from Animal. So Pearl Jam, and yeah, this is a bit of a game changer for a lot of folks. When they first discover this, you'll probably lose yourself a couple of days just playing around with different tones. So here's the tone from the song Animal by Pearl Jam. Okay, we're going to go with that for our lead guitar tone there. Why don't we take our attention over here to our rhythm, because now if we bring the lead and the rhythm together, our rhythm's going to sound pretty out of place. So we need a nice crunchy tone here on this guitar. So we could use Tonbridge again, or we could use the other option I'm going to show here, which is the Nembrini Crunck V2. So again, we go over here to our audio unit extensions, we scroll on down, and we were going to throw the Nembrini, the NA Crunck V2 on here, and we tap on this one. It's going to give us the thing to register. I have already done that, but I don't know why it keeps coming up. And then from here, your default tone is going to sound a little something like this. And you can see here, you've got the ability to manually control gain, bass, mids, trebles, your master volume, your presence, and your output. So it's a simple approach here, but it's very effective. And what we can do is if we wanted to go in here, you can go to your factory presets. So if you tap on this default button here, you can go factory presets. Say we wanted more of a clean tone, we can go with something like this. And then if we wanted to go with a more of a crunchy tone, and the A and the B is just basically more crunchy. So you can see Crunch A goes like that. And if we came in here and go to Crunch B, it just kind of turns it up to 11 a little bit more. So you get this kind of tone. Pretty cool, yeah. And you can, of course, go all the way up to your lead tones, which give you a little bit more of a treble-heavy lead tone. Probably a bit too much for this. So we're going to dial this one back to the crunch. So the crunch A, and then let's bring these two together and see if we can balance these suckers out and get ourselves some guitar tones going on here. Pretty cool. So from here, we can add a whole bunch of more effects. And here's the cool thing. Now that we've used the Nembrini Crunck and Tonbridge on these ones, we've now got ourselves some extra slots here. So you can usually get rid of that effect EQ and bring your amp up to here. But what you can do is you can add, say, a reverb after the fact. So if you wanted to add in any sort of reverb effects, even just a stock track reverb, you could put that on there. You could come in here and put things ahead of the amp as well. So if we wanted to, say, come in here and put, say, a phaser or a flanger on here, we could add a flanger plugin and then drag it up here, because you can change the order here in your plugins. You can hit the edit button and you can change the order. So you can put a flanger in there before the amp and then a reverb unit afterwards, and you can really customize your tone here to make it really what you want. Let's just see what that came out like. I don't hate that. In fact, it's put the flanger after, so we'll just move that flanger again there to put it before and see if that makes a difference. Pretty cool, yeah. So you've got pretty good control over this, and you've got a bunch of plug-in slots, as opposed to your guitars. If you use the Amp Sim, you've only got the one slot. So there you go. A couple of options for you there. The Nembrini Crunck V2, a very cool free guitar amp sim, and of course Tonbridge, which gives you the power of pretty much any guitar tone in the world.